Welcome to another one of our series in myofascial health self-care, where we help you learn how to better take care of your one body for life. Now, we've spoken previously about pelvic alignment and the importance of having your pelvis aligned and balanced underneath you, and the trouble that can cause if you don't. If you haven't looked through that one yet, I highly recommend that you take a look at it because it is central to a good, healthy working body. Now, assuming that you've begun that with the pelvis, one of the next things that happens is that the area on top of your pelvis has gotten rigid and twisted and stuck as well, because it's been there for a long time. Perhaps you've had particular injuries there, specific injuries, or maybe it's just a result of how you've been holding yourself for years. Either way, your ribs and your shoulders need attention. One of the things that you might be experiencing are aches and pains, stabbing, bands of tightness. One of the common things is that a rib somewhere in the backside will tend to start to pop out of place, and the muscles around it will spasm painfully. And people say, there's that one spot in my back. Other people will have difficulty breathing. They'll feel a tight band around their chest or around their gut, and it's hard for them to breathe. Others, their shoulders are always aching or their necks are always hurting. That speaks to a bad structural foundation for the things that are there. It speaks to twisted, bent ribs that are not quite the right shape and they've become immobilized. So it's very important to start to free up those ribs and shoulders and help them move better so that you can continue this journey of better alignment, better health, and better myofascial condition. I've got Chris here. He's going to help me in demonstrating as I described to you. One of the first things that I like to start with, we're going to go through about a 20-25 minute set of exercises here, of stretches. These will be more active. Much of the time, myofascial release is gentle and wait and soften for 5 minutes, but there is room and time and good use for a bit more active. So we're going to be a bit more on the active side this time. This means you can do this a bit quicker if you need to. You can do this in a quick 5 to 10 minute morning thing as you get up. We're going to take a little bit longer. So if Chris, you would turn to the side, please. And what I'd like you to do is roll your shoulders up and back and squeeze them together in the back. You should be bringing your shoulder blades tight, pinching that tissue, that flesh, that skin that is between them. Squeeze them back. This starts to open the front of your chest. We all get very, very tight and pulled forward in the fronts. It's the back that aches. It's the back where everybody says, I carry my tension. But those areas are working hard because you're pulled forward. Squeezing back into the area that hurts is a great way to start. I've found that it works quite a lot better than always stretching. When you're doing this, start feeling for where things hurt and squeeze into them. You might start to get a bit of a spasm, you might start to get a bit of a cramp. That's okay as long as it's not too intense for you to handle. Breathe and squeeze into that and it will start to change what's going on. It's usually very, very helpful to squeeze these areas. As you've been doing that for a bit, start to look for a little bit of up and down with your shoulder blades, with your shoulders. Squeeze higher and squeeze lower. If you need to, take a break for a moment. Slowly ease out of that and then come back. This can be a very tiring thing. So first you just get started with a squeeze. Then start to come back into that squeeze and you can probably squeeze even a little bit tighter. Search for those achy spots. They might be up in your traps, up around your neck. They might be in your upper mid back. Squeeze into the achy spots. While you're doing this, breathe into your front. Allow the front of your chest to breathe, to expand. Squeeze the back, breathe into the front. Gently ease out of that. You want to be slow. Feel the tension levels just plain decreasing, bit by bit. Okay, that's probably brought some awareness to things. Now if you would face forward. This time, I'd like you to pick your right side. I was going to say you pick. I guess I'm picking. Pick a side and squeeze that direction. Bend your spine in a curve to that direction. You're looking to squeeze your ribs together on that side. You may find where they don't move so well. You may find where they don't compress so well. Squeeze into those. Breathe into your opposite side. Feel those ribs expand. Allow them to expand. And then gently come out of that. Ease back up to straight. I'll let go of that squeeze. Okay. Now, squeeze the other side. Squeeze and bend into the other side. And if you can hear, this is a bit of effort. Chris's breathing has gotten deeper and a bit more strained. That's okay. This is a bit tiring. It is a bit sore. This is what will help mobilize those areas that have not been moving and have not been able to relax. You don't want to push past anything that's too intense. You don't want to injure yourself, but it is okay for this to be a bit uncomfortable. Remember to breathe into your opposite side. Allow those ribs to open. And then gently let go of that squeeze. Come back up to straight. Shake it out a little bit. Feel how things are moving. Take note of where your body is having troubles. It might be sharp pains, it might be dull aches, it might be areas of stiffness, blockiness, things that don't move. Simply notice. All right, I'd like you to squeeze and bend to the original side, in this case the right side. Chris is already including his neck. If you're not, please include your neck. Feel the base of your neck or the very top of the spine underneath your neck, squeezing to the side. Now, can you add a twist? Can you turn? And take notice, can you more easily turn to the back side or to the front side? Squeeze and twist into the area, into the direction that is more easy. Remember to breathe. Breathe within that tension. Allow your spine and your ribs in there to expand. And gently come out of that. Now let's go to the other side. Squeeze bend, and twist. Take note, easy direction or difficult direction. Pick the easy direction first. I hope by now you're remembering to breathe into the spine and ribs. Allow the opposite side to expand and move. And gently ease out of that. Let's do one more to the right, to the first direction, and this time we're going to go into the difficult direction of rotation. Or rather, I should say, the less easy, perhaps difficult. Remember, this may show areas that ache and hurt. Be gentle and easy with yourself, but it is good to squeeze and move into those areas that hurt. As long as your body can tolerate it and you are not being forceful. Gently, slowly ease out of this. And of course, to the second side, in this case the left. And rotate into the direction that was less easy. You are squeezing. See if there is any tension in there that does not need to be there. Can you let go of that tension and find yourself with more room to rotate and bend? And gently come out of that. Let's ask Chris what he's experiencing right now. What have you been noticing?
I feel like it's easier to squeeze into this side, but I feel more stuck here in all the rotations, and anywhere that feels stressed or starts to get painful is all in this side. But as we've gone through, it feels easier to kind of settle in and sit even in this position.
Okay, good. Good. All right, this next position will be best done in something like a hand and knee position. You can modify this. You can do this standing at a countertop or a table. Stand on the floor, support your hands on the surface up above. Or if you're good with this, do this. You could even do this lying down on the floor or a bed. The goal this time now is to squeeze your back, your spine. Arch your head. Arch is the wrong word. Squeeze your head back towards your tailbone. Bring your chest forward and down towards the surface, towards the floor. You're looking to bend this. Bring the chest down, squeeze this into a sag as much as you can. We get very stuck in a forward curve here. So in this case, you would breathe and lengthen through your front side. Lengthen through the front of your neck, your throat. Lengthen through your chest and your stomach, and squeeze and bend through your back. This gets very, very tight for people. And ease out of that. Go ahead and roll your back a little bit, arch. All right, we're going to go into that same back bend again. Lengthen through the front. Notice if you are really compressing the back of your neck, or are you lengthening the front of your neck? There is a difference. Try both and see what the effect is for you. Now, just like we did before, can you add a bend to the side? In the interest of speeding this up a little bit, we already went through bending and twisting in the forward direction. You can do the same thing here, but you don't necessarily need to on any given day. So if you feel that you can get a bit of good mobilization by being quicker here, feel free. If you need to spend more time, do that. In this case, I'm going to have Chris go over to his other side. And ease out of that. Good. Remember to lengthen through the front of your neck and your chest when you do this. Could you come to a seated position, please? Still facing to the side. And keep your feet out in front. Place your hands behind. You can rotate your hands so that your fingers are pointing away from you, as Chris has them, or you can bring them forward. Depends on where your shoulder mobility is at. Hands forward like this will challenge your shoulders a little bit less. Rotate the hands out for a bit more of a challenge. Rotating the hands out will naturally start to open up the fronts of those shoulders. Now, can you come up onto your feet, bottoms of your feet on the floor, please? Knees bent, so that you can, if you want to, pick up your pelvis, your hips, and slide. Now, as you slide forward, you're starting to open more through your shoulders. As you slide back, you're opening less. See if you can start to slide a bit forward and ask those shoulders to rotate open. Find a spot where it's a bit of a challenge, set your hips down, and breathe. Chris is doing an excellent job of keeping his body, his torso, tall in this position. He is remaining long instead of collapsing. As you're here, you can play a little bit with rotation and twist just like we've been doing. You can do that in your mid back. You can do that in your upper back, the base of your neck. Those shoulder girdles, shoulders, get very, very stuck and pulled forward. Again, keep this gentle. As long as your body is able to tolerate it, you're doing good. Do not force anything. You may feel a pulling, a somewhat tearing type of sensation along your collarbones, or through your sternum, or through your ribs, or the fronts of your shoulder. those joints, those shoulder girdles, can start to reposition. When they have enough room, they will actually start to shift out. And you'll realize just how tightly pulled forward they've been. They've not been in the right place. Okay, please relax out of that. Come back to a seated position, and would you grab one of the balls, please? You do not need a ball for this, but something to help lock your pelvis and hips into place is a very helpful thing. So, Chris, if you would sit on that. The idea here is that you place it between your tailbone and your pubic bone into your perineal area, so that you are literally sitting on it. And this itself can be a very, very good thing. It's often sore and tender for people, and that means you need this. If it's too intense, put a cushion, take some air out of the ball, make it less intense. But if it's intense and if this is uncomfortable, you need this. And if you can notice, Chris's hips are tilted back with this so that he's in a curve in his spine. Do you have enough room to bring your spine more tall in this, Chris? Perhaps if you cross your legs, bring your legs up. Hips can kind of get in the way. You want to have as tall of a spine as possible. And if you're too tight in the hips, then having a cushion, having an elevated surface can help. If we had, for example, a bolster to sit on, this would help him sit up a bit taller. So you want your spine as tall and long as possible. And that ball underneath helps anchor them in place, anchor your hips in place. From here, I want you to pick a direction, right or left, and twist through your spine. The hips should stay relatively immobile. Twist from your low back first. Tall spine. Tall spine. Keep it tall. We're not bending. Simply rotate through your lower back and then through your ribs. See if you can feel each rib as you rotate. If you like, you can use your arms to help with this, but try to have most of this effort come from your torso, from your trunk. Feel each rib twisting. Breathe and let go of any excess tension and keep at that twist. You'll find that you gain more and more room. This can be a bit of effort. Most of us have gotten very weak and stiff in this motion. Our spines are curved and bent, our ribs are stuck and glued, and we're actually only moving in a small portion of our entire spine and rib cage. Those areas get overworked. They get overly mobile. Those are the areas that break down and hurt. It's the stiffened areas that are not moving well that need to be recovered. This takes the pressure off of those poor areas that are moving and allows them to heal. Gently and slowly come out of that. Feel the motion through your spine and ribs as you do this. Chris is already sitting taller. Now to the other side, please. Remember to keep a tall, long spine. You should be tall through your neck, tall through the back of your neck, all through your spine. There will be a great tendency to collapse in this. We're not looking for how far you can go, but how tall can you stay while you go. Most of us are moving around the problem. When we start to move into the way that finds the problem, it's usually pretty difficult, and we don't have the motion that we think we should have. Those muscles have weakened, those tissues have stiffened. This is an excellent way to start recovering them. When you fatigue, that's okay. Gently ease out of it and come back to it again in a bit. This is an excellent thing to do daily. Your muscles will get stronger, your tissues and joints will get more mobile. Gently and slowly come out of that. You at home, feel free to do this a couple more times on each side. It will have a progressive effect. Always be careful to gently and slowly move out of these positions and to gently and slowly explore how your body moves afterwards. It is possible that as your ribs starts to move, things will spasm. That's not a pleasant experience. It's an okay one and you'll be all right, but it's not pleasant and it's hopefully avoidable. Slow, gentle movements will help you avoid that. Try this each day, shorter or longer versions, and you will very soon notice a big difference. Let us know how it goes.